I don't want to be a chicken, I don't want to be a duck, so I shake my butt. Today, Corey and I are going to talk about not giving a fuck about what you look like.
One of the very, very important topics regarding connecting with women. One of the big things that I've always said is said and done and helped my clients with is, the attraction process is one thing, but then once you attract what you want, you have to take it to the next level and be able to connect with women on this level that separates you from every other douchebag out there, right? And how that happens is to really be present with the woman that you're with and really be with her. But what we found is, I always kind of did this naturally, where I would just, really look a woman in her eyes and just be present with her and just give her all of me. Doesn't matter if I was at a bar, if I was at a bookstore, if I was walking down the street, or and it doesn't matter if it was a girl or a guy. I'm not talking about connecting on a sexual level. I'm talking about connecting on a much deeper level with human beings, and that is really the key to connect. You have to get great at connecting with people before you start connecting with beautiful women. I mean, one of the toughest things that we found with working with so many guys is they really look at women as objects, sex objects, whether it be they watch porn all the time or they just, they just don't have much experience with them or whatever it is, and they freeze up and they clam up and they try to figure out what to say and do and shit. But what to say and do is really not relevant. It's about finding that way to really connect with people, and be with them and be present with them. And that's what, Matthew and I went out last night for a happy hour, had some dinner and a couple drinks, and
That we did.
what was it that we were talking about?
So he mind fucked me once again. He basically told me that one of the things that makes him him, because there's so much more to Corey than what meets the eyes, than what you see that makes him him. And one of it is just the depth that he can see in other people. And he told me, that I'm still at a point where I'm
Even with all the experience.
And
all the women that you've had, and
connections and all that stuff.
Wildness.
Yeah.
Overall, general.
I'm still at a point where I'm seeing things on a very surface level, and including myself. And he said, you've got to connect. You've got to start seeing beyond your physical body when you connect with yourself. You've got to start seeing beyond other people's physical bodies. You've got to see within them, not just at them.
Right. It's learning to be with yourself and find that peace and that sense of bliss within you and who you are as a man. And then taking that and translating that into your relationships with your parents, with your friends, with women that you just meet, with the homeless guy on the side of the street. Doesn't matter where you go, you have to have that depth to where you can really look somebody in their eyes and be with them. And one of the biggest things to be able to do that is to let go of this. You have to let go
of this.
You have to let go of how you see yourself. And you have to look beyond that physical image that you see when you look in the mirror. Hence, his beautiful haircut that we gave him this morning.
And by we, he means he told me he was going to give me a fucking mohawk, and then this happened. But one of the things about you is you never get intimidated by anyone. You
No.
never do. And I asked you about that, and you said, I really see everybody as equal.
Everybody, children, the elderly, rich, poor.
And if you really want to connect with a woman, with anybody, and not be intimidated, and just be completely comfortable, then you gotta look beyond that.
You have to look beyond judgment.
Yeah.
No more comparing yourself to other people. No more judging somebody walking down the street. No more judging
Your own body.
your body. No more judging yourself and being hard on yourself, beating yourself up. This this whole thing about connecting, really connecting, starts with you. And it starts with you doing your willingness to do whatever the fuck it takes to let go of any and all external things that could get in the way of you really being present and free and experiencing that bliss. Yes, that doesn't mean that you need to go out and do some wild haircut. Yes,
I think it looks hot.
I personally think that changing up your style, your personal style, your clothes, you're changing up your hairstyle. I think that's a great thing for breaking out of that comfort zone that we had, that pattern that we have, that we get into, because a lot of people, women too, will get into this pattern where they view themselves a certain way. And here's the thing, they try changing internally, they try doing all these changes, making all these changes in their lives. They want to become successful, they want to have more love in their life, they want to have more friends, they want to improve their social life, dating life, whatever it is. But then they still see their physical being in front of them the same.
With all the judgment.
With all the judgment, the comparing, all the shit.
Every time I've had a connection with a girl, that was just beyond. That was just like, wow. The kind that like, you feel that feeling for days afterwards. In that moment, I let go of me. I let go of all the judgments, that voice that always tells me like, that's judging me, that's saying, oh, you're this, you're that, you need to do this, you need to do that. I let that go. And it's funny because when I didn't really understand the stuff, when I first started coaching and stuff a lot, I would talk to clients and I would do seminars and stuff, and I would talk about how when I have this connection, when I meet this girl, we just like enter into a bubble, and it seems like time disappears. Everyone around us disappears. It's just like nothing else matters. I literally lose myself in the moment. And in her, and she loses herself in you, and it's just like magic. And it's so effortless because there's literally nothing in the way.
Yes. And the only way you can do that is through clearing out the shit, facing your fears, clearing out the judgments, the doubts, the attachments to anything and everything in life. And that's fucking scary. That's really scary because, especially, just the physical, changing the physical body up, doing wild stuff with your hair. Obviously, if you are, have a professional, politically correct type job
like me,
you obviously can't, do some crazy shit like that, but there's other things that you can do, and you have to just get creative with it and do whatever the fuck you got to do, and be open to
just breaking out
of the same old conditioning, the same old judging, the same old, oh fuck, I'm going to work, so this fucking sucks.
I remember when,
You remember when what?
Well, I was in college, and like, I was in such a rut. Like, I hated life, and I went through a period where I basically lost everything that made me me, and just pure passion for life and excitement and my ability to connect with women. It was just like all this shit came over me, and one day I was just like, I just need to do something to switch it up. So I went and I got a mohawk. Like for the first time in my life, it was kind of like this, except not really like this, because it was a normal mohawk.
It wasn't Corey Skyified.
It wasn't Corey Skyified. And I remember that night I went out and I met an amazing girl, and the night after that I went out and actually had a really amazing connection with this girl, and it was just so hot and so effortless, and I felt like I was just with myself for the first time in a while at that point. And the next day after that experience, I'm just sitting there in the room and I'm just fucking crying, because I'm like, how did I lose this shit? Like, how could I forget how amazing this is? And I see it all the time, like people lose themselves. It's happened to so many of my friends.
And how do you lose yourself? You lose yourself by going in and settling with a job that you really don't want to be at. Settling with a girl or a partner that you really fucking can't stand, that you know you deserve better. Settling for an education that you really want to do something else, but you feel like you have to go through this painful, shitty process of being in debt for the rest of your life to get this job. I can promise you this, where there's a will, there's always a way.
Yeah.
Know what you want, and know why you want it. Let go of how it'll happen. And I feel like this is happening so much in society today, all around the world, where guys are getting jobs because that's what their parents feel like that's what they should do. They're going to school to be an engineer because that's what your dad wants and expects you to do. Your doctor, attorney, psychiatrist. Maybe your mom wants you to be a psychiatrist so you can fix her. Falling into that trap of living for other people, whether it be for your parents, whether it be for alternative motives or reasons that are very selfish, that are very empty. All that kind of stuff really contributes to feeling trapped, feeling alone, feeling empty.
Just like you're not honoring yourself.
You're not honoring yourself.
And if you just sell out like that, you're not going to be able to be you and all the magic that makes you you. You're not going to be able to walk into a room and glow. I know, I've done it before.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
And it is terrible.
Sucks.
It's a terrible thing. I mean, I remember this one time I got a job working for it was a mortgage company, and I had to show up in a shirt and tie every day. Did you imagine that? That was painful to me. Fuck you. That was painful to me. I'm like, no, this is not congruent with who I am.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like I can put on a shirt and tie and I can own that shit, but and some people, that is them. Some people really do like that, and they feel comfortable and they want that and that whatever. But if that's you, if you're one of those guys, or you maybe know one of those guys that feels like he needs to have a power suit, power tie to feel great about yourself, truth is it's empty and it's temporary.
Yeah, and we're not literally talking about wearing suits and ties. There's things in everyone's life to where they're selling out. There's things in your life, man, that you're doing or you feel like you have to do, that when you do it, it just feels like you're going against yourself.
Fighting.
That's what we're talking about.
It's a life of competition compared to a life of creativity and bliss and freedom, right? Yes, you do have to fight, but the fight is not for anything external. The fight that we all have to go through is the fight to be fucking ourselves and find and create and recreate and reinvent ourselves as men. If you don't, you will settle. If you don't continue to reinvent yourself, if you don't continue to challenge yourself and push yourself beyond your comfort zone, if you continue to rely on this power suit and power tie, that day is going to come when that power tie is going to be taken from you, and that power suit will be taken from you. And that day, when it comes, it's going to be a very, very sad day for you. The experience that we help our clients with, you know, inside the library, the Ultimate program, is we help our clients get to that place of worth, self-worth, to the level of feeling that power, feeling that fame, feeling that fortune, feeling that fucking sense of aliveness and the energy and this fucking just sexiness, just feeling fucking great about who you are. Walking into a place like you're a fucking rock star,
but not
having women checking you out, girls coming up, wanting to get their pictures taken with you, wanting, you know, the people just want to be around you, like the people that you never thought would ever want to hang out with you now just start calling you up, just like, bro, come hang out. We want you in our crowd. Like, you become that rock star, that desired guy, that desired man. And it's not about the girls, it's not about the money, it's not about anything that comes along with it. It's about the fucking sense of inside of you and who you are as a fucking man. And the most beautiful part about it is you don't need a fucking thing.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
On the phone.
You don't need that power suit. You don't need that power tie, because it's all within you. You don't need to be a professional soccer player. You don't need to be a movie star in Hollywood. You don't need to be a fucking doctor, a big Hollywood doctor.
You don't need to do shit.
You don't need to do shit. All you gotta do is
Show up
and say, I exist, therefore I am.
I overheard you talking to this guy on the phone the other day, and he was telling Corey about like the most amazing experience of his life. And he was this soccer player, and he was playing for like some national finals game, and there were all these people there, and he turned on, like he went on fire, and he scored all the points in that game. And by the time he got off the field, he felt like a rock star. Everyone was giving him attention. All the girls wanted to be around him. Everyone wanted to hang out with him. And I heard Corey tell him, like, dude, you can feel like that all the time. You can walk into a room, exist, and have that same level of being a fucking rock star without needing to do shit.
Without the good looks, without the money, without the fame, without the all the shit that we've been sold on, that it gives us what we feel like we need. This is what we all fucking want as men. We want that fucking that strength to feel worthy. We want to feel like
feeling
enough.
like you need to do something.
We want to feel fucking sexy. We want to feel desired. We want to, you know, even if you're in a relationship, you know, one of the most beautiful things about being in a relationship and actually applying this stuff and continuing to apply this stuff is you walk out and you got girls checking you out, and that's still an amazing feeling. Like, you don't need to act on it. Of course, you're with your girl, but just that feeling that it gives you, that sense of empowerment from within, just knowing that you just be you. You show up. You show up with your girl. You show up with your friends. You show up with family. Doesn't matter where you are.
You don't need to fight. It's not conditional. It's not like conditional. I need to do this to feel this way. It just is.
It just is.
All the time, no matter what.
All right. It's a great feeling. Anyway, so that's what we work with.
So
Connection.
So on topic.
So yeah, we changed topics again. We started with connecting.
Sorry about.
Okay, so back to connecting. Sorry, ADD kicking in. Back to connecting.
Squirrel.
So back to connecting. You know, spend more time with yourself. You know, make that commitment. Keep that level of openness and develop that will to do whatever the fuck it takes to establish this internal state that we're talking about. Moreover, getting a great body. Moreover, dressing appropriately. It doesn't fucking matter. You know, I mean, this ridiculous haircut is gonna be his hardest temptation over the next month because he's not allowed to have sex over the next 30 days because of another challenge that we're doing actually inside the 60-day program that we're working on. But that's a whole other topic we're not going there. But yeah, it's fucking beautiful when you can truly love yourself unconditionally and see yourself as beautiful.
Well, and then when you do things to actually improve yourself, like you go to the gym, you work on making more money, it's coming from a really good place.
It's coming from that natural creative state rather than that fighting, competitive state that we are all taught that in society that we need. So I guess, you know, my last words on this one would be let go of the power suit, let go of the power tie, let go of that attachment to any of that shit, and focus more on being with yourself, really connecting with yourself, connecting with people in general, and being with people, and actually listening to people, and things will start to change for you. All right, guys. If you want to check out, if you haven't checked out our new manifestation process, you know, we refer to it in this video. If you haven't checked it out, it's a 6-step manifestation process that we put together, the exact steps that I have used always to attract women to me. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out now. CoreySky.com.
Click that I in the upper
or
right-hand
click
corner.
the I and check it out, and all this will make more sense after you go through that. All right, take care. Peace.